Just look who we've got here with us this afternoon. Apart from Rocky and apart from Brolly, we've got this beautiful little baby gorilla from Bristol Zoo. And he is called Goliath. And just look at him, and I can tell you, he's as solid as a piece of mahogany. He's wonderfully compact, and he's enjoying his milk here very, very much indeed. Now, Bristol Zoo have had a lot of success recently with their gorillas. They've had 5 baby gorillas in the last 2 years. And that's really very, very good indeed, because if you remember, because I have told you before, that the first baby gorilla ever born in captivity was born in 1956, and that was not very long ago because we didn't know very much about it. But now we're getting together groups of gorillas and they're breeding very, very successfully. And the great father down at Bristol Zoo is that magnificent gorilla called Samson. Well, of course, Samson's wife was Delilah, and she's produced all sorts of babies, and now here is Goliath, and he's just 5 months old. Now, only 2 weeks ago, yet another gorilla was born at Bristol Zoo. Hadn't got a name yet, but there it is. There they are. And do you see his lovely little hands? He's got beautiful little hands with pink fingers. And there's little Goliath. He's just enjoying his tea. Just a little drop of milk, and he's quite enjoying it. He says, you're not letting it come out fast enough. But I think here, see, he's got this little bit of rhythm going. Boom, da boom, da boom, da boom, boom, da boom, da boom, boom. We all like that, don't we, when we're young? Well, now, I don't know if you've thought, but have you thought of anything that rhymes with gorilla for the limericks? Have you thought of anything, Terry?
No, I haven't got a clue for that one.
Well, for gorilla, could it be sarsaparilla, do you think?
Sarsaparilla, yeah.
Yeah.
Could be.
But we have been getting quite a lot of limericks from you. Would you like to take his bottle, Terry?
Yeah.
Then they can perhaps have a look at Goliath like that, and perhaps we can read 1 or 2 limericks that we've had from you. Here we are, Goliath. Would you like to have a look at that?
Read the first one.
The first one comes from Alison Jones, and she says, I have a cat called J.R. who is always watching a star. Though he's not as callous as that guy from Dallas, he's much more handsome, by far. That must be you.
It's up to date.
Yeah.
And I've got another one.
Yeah.
I have a goldfish called Jaws who has a baby called Claws.
Yeah.
They swim round and round without making a sound, and they still haven't stopped for a pause.
That's rather good, isn't it?
And that was from Brian Beck, aged 11, from Tyne and Wear.
Oh, well, now I've got one. We've only got time for one more, I'm afraid, from Nicola Winwood, and it goes like this. There was a young tortoise called Torty, who was extremely proud and haughty. With his nose in the air, not a fig did he care, but he ate all the flowers. How naughty. Yeah. Well, look at that. What did you think of that, Goliath? Isn't he a beautiful little chap? There's our little Goliath from Bristol Zoo, and he's as strong and as hard as anything. He's just 5 months old, ho, 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 and one day he's going to be such a boy, aren't you? Eh? Oh, the champ. There. Well, now, I don't know about you, but are you any good at getting up in the mornings? No, I know, neither am I. It can be a bit difficult, can't it? Yeah. But, you know, the funny thing about birds is that they can get up in the mornings. You see, the moment the dawn breaks, the moment it's light, they're up and they want to get out and about. Here we go, time to get up. And it is time to get up and time to get out. And it is time to get out, isn't it? Oh, yeah, gotta stretch the old wings, you know. That's it, stretch the old wings. Of course, you and your mates are coming out with you, aren't they? Oh, yes, time for flippy whippies. Time for flippy whippies. Come on, I've forgotten to open your door, haven't I? Well, there you are. Out you come and off you go. They love a good fly round or a flippy whippy first thing in the morning. These free-flying macaws at the Tropical Bird Gardens at Road. Now, you won't go far, will you? Oh, no, we won't go far. We know when we're onto a good thing. Yes, they know when they're onto a good thing. Well, some of them were reared here, and they all know that this is where they'll find the food that suits them best and the food they like the best. They're onto a good thing, all right. But then, all the birds here are onto a good thing. They've grown quite used to human beings, and I think they quite enjoy watching us most of the time, except perhaps that one over there, the peacock displaying his beautiful fan. I must say, you have a most beautiful fan, don't you?
Oh, yeah? Have a look at that.
Yes. Sometimes it looks like a lot of frightened people peering out of a haystack.
Don't you dare say things like that.
Sorry. Go on, give us a bit of that. That's it. He's one of nature's big show-offs. He does it to attract the ladies. And again. Can you keep up a display like that for long?
Oh, yes. 2 hours.
2 hours?
Yes, well, you pay for it, don't you?
Pay for it?
Well, that's what it says on the notice.
What does it say?
Pay and display. Pay and display.
Really, you do have a sense of humour, don't you?
Oh, yes. Oh, pay and display. Well, that's enough of that.
Can you manage to fly with all that decoration on?
Oh, yes. Show him what you can do, Proudfoot.
Well, really, they are a lot of show-offs, aren't they? But lovely to look at. And what about that over there? Four. That one over there is good, but that one over there is better. It's a white one. Still, I can't waste any more time admiring you peacocks. It's time to give those free-flying macaws their 11s. Come on. Come and get it. Come and get it. Come on. Come on, down you come, down you come. That's right. The gong's ringing, the gong's ringing. Just one of you so far, is it?
Yes, that's right.
Well, where's the others? Oh, they've flown away. They've flown away?
Oh, yes. So can I have their share?
Can you have their share, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I don't think so.
Oh, dear. What a pity, what a pity. Here they come now. What a pity, what a pity.
Don't worry, there's enough for all of you. What have we got today, eh?
What have we got today, eh?
Well, there's some rather nice sweet biscuit. That's it. Well, have you had nice flippy whippies?
Oh, yeah, very nice flippy whippies. We've been flippy whippies and flappy whappies, and we feel just a bit flighty-tighty.
You feel a bit flighty-tighty?
Oh, yeah.
Well then, why don't you come on down?
Okay.
You know, it's really very nice to have you birds flying around like this, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
But you're not all here, are you?
Oh, just one more. Just one more. Here we are. Coming in now.
There's lots more yet.
Oh, no. They're staying with friends.
They're staying with friends. Get off. You are very free and easy, you free-flying macaws, aren't you? Very free and easy. Well, those macaws at the Tropical Bird Gardens at Rhodes are certainly onto a good thing, aren't they? And, you know, they've bred over 100 of them there, and at this very moment, there are 12 little ones being looked after in their nests. Isn't that nice? Well, now, you all know this sign, don't you? Danger, keep out. And you all know that it's got a big red-black background, because red, of course, is the big danger colour that we recognise. Red. Good heavens.
Halt.
What are
Who
you
goes
doing?
there?
What are you doing dressed up like that?
Well, I'm wearing red, Johnny, to advertise the fact that I'm dangerous.
Really?
In the old days, soldiers had short-range rifles, and if they wore red, it frightened the opposition off.
So we used red as far back as that to say that
That's
we were
right.
dangerous.
All that way back, yeah.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah. Well, now, of course, there are a lot of animals that use red to say that they're dangerous. And we'll start with a little one here, if we can. It's the littlest one we could get. There it is, a little ladybird, you see. It's red, orangey red, and it is not very nice to taste. And so it just says, keep out of the way, I'm dangerous. And he's flown out of the way, so he's very dangerous, isn't he? Well, now, let's see what other ones we've got here that use red. Oh, aren't you going to let me pass?
You sure you're a friend?
Of course I'm a friend. Get out of the way. Go and get changed. And get your hair cut. Now, here we've got a red-banded frog that comes from Africa, and you can see he's got a red band around him, and he is, quite frankly, just poisonous. If you handle him, well, you could get a skin rash, and if you're eating him, well, then you would be in a bad way. That's the red-banded frog from Africa. Red again. Here's another red, although it's a sort of a dark pink. This is a Gila monster, and it comes from Mexico. And this is a poisonous animal, the Gila monster. If it was to bite you, then you'd get quite a painful and nasty bite. And there's the red that protects him. Well, now, we've got some very clever little animals in here. They're so clever I can't... Oh, I can see one, but there's... What's the matter with you?
Me picture flashing bull.
Really? What are you dressed up like that for?
For aggression.
Really?
Yeah, I put all this war paint on and all these feathers when I go to war.
Yeah.
But normally, I'm quite well camouflaged under normal circumstances.
And that's supposed to frighten people off,
And
is
this
it?
is purely to frighten people off.
Yeah, I think it would. Yeah, well, it's rather like these clever little blokes in here. Now, these little toads are called fire-bellied toads, and they're beautifully camouflaged, as you can see, Terry. You see, they mix in beautifully. But they've got these red sort of bellies, these fire bellies. There you are. You can probably see just what it looks like. There you are. It's a lovely red colour, like fire. Now, that's very, very clever, because this little fellow is camouflaged from above, but if he swims in the water, then his red belly shows to the fishes and they leave him alone. Also, if he's on the ground, and although he's well camouflaged, somebody might spot him and come down, what he does, he just flips himself over on his back and exposes his little red tongue, and that puts people off, you see. So there's the little fire-bellied toad. Isn't he nice? Yeah. Now, here's another one that uses camouflage very, very expertly, a chameleon. As you know, a chameleon can change its colour to suit its background a bit. It can also turn a different colour if it wants to show aggression. So if you annoy a chameleon, it might turn colour. Terry, you just tickle it with that feather and see if he gets annoyed. And he's showing a little reaction, not a lot as probably we thought, but he is changing colour, you see. He doesn't like that at all, and so he's trying to frighten off Terry there with his red Indian feather, and he has changed colour quite a bit. Well, now, we've adapted all these colour things from the animals, I suppose, because we know perfectly well when you see a red light like that, it means stop, don't walk, stay where you are. But if it changes to green, we can walk. Hello, Big Chief Sitting Bull. What are you doing now?
What's it, Johnny? I'm making sure I can be seen. That's why I've got all these flashing orange beakers everywhere and all this here, because I'm digging the road up and I don't want to be run over, so I've got to be seen.
I think you stand a good chance of not being run into with all that around you, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to
carry on working. So there you get that yellow-orange thing again, and here we've got the caterpillars of the cinnabar moth, and you can see that they've got a very, very astonishing sort of appearance. Keep off, leave us alone, because they don't taste very nice. And you'll always find a lot of them together, so that if somebody does try one, then you'll certainly leave the rest alone. So that's pretty clever. Well, now, we've got another orange coloration. Here we've got some orange and black salamanders. You can get red and black ones, but these are the orange ones. Once again, this is saying, leave us alone, because if they are attacked, they emit a nasty sort of milky substance from some glands behind the ears, and it tastes really dreadful. So there are the salamanders. Well, there we are. We've shown you how colour can put predators off certain animals. But you might be saying, well, look, we haven't got a colour television. We've only got black and white. All right, we'll show you how black and white can help certain animals, because here we are. We've got a lot of black and white in the studio now. Here we are. We use black and white a lot so that people can see it mainly at night. Here's a Belisha beacon and a black and white pole, because people can see that at night. Here we have a zebra crossing, black and white, because people can see that at night. And animals, too, use black and white so that people can see them and be put off them and leave them alone. Here we have a couple of moths. Here is the magpie moth, it's black and white, and here is the wood tiger moth, that's black and white too. And they taste terrible, so they let people know just how terrible they taste. And because they're nocturnal, they're...
Excuse me, sir.
What?
Is this animal yours?
Oh, that badger.
Is it a badger?
Yes, it's a badger.
A badger?
Yeah.
Is it yours?
Yeah, I'm sorry, yes. I left it, didn't I, outside the supermarket?
Do you realise it's illegally parked?
Was it really?
Yes.
What, on a double yellow line?
On a double yellow line.
Oh, he couldn't recognise the colour. You see, he's a nocturnal animal, this one. See, that's why it is, yeah. And he's a very powerful animal. I shouldn't have left him there because you can see he's largely nocturnal and he's got these lovely black and white stripes on his head, which tells everybody, look out, I'm coming, get out of the way.
I've heard it all before, sir.
Have you really? Yes. You get a lot of badgers, do you?
Mm.
No, I'm sorry about that. I suppose I can expect a little bit of a summons on this, can I?
Well, if you don't mind tearing your own ticket off...
I'll tear my own ticket off, officer.
Lovely. Oh. That's all right.
That was just a counterfeit.
Right.
Is that all right?
That's fine.
Thank you very much. Well, of course, you know, it's not only badgers that are black and white and that travel at night. There are also other things like porcupines. Now, porcupines' quills are black and white, and they show up at night and they just say, keep away from me because these things hurt like anything. Now, there's another animal, a skunk, and he is very black and white, and he just says, and it's awfully nice of him, really, because he says, look, don't touch me, because if you do, I done off pong. Cool, I done off pong.
Yeah,
that's right.
And I thought with this hat on.
Tell me, Terry, how's that sea lion of yours doing?
Well, as you know, she's now living up on the Isle of Skye.
Yeah.
And I've been taking her up to the mountain river.
Yeah.
But really, a sea lion, as you know, needs salt water.
Yeah.
And so I decided to take her down onto the coast and introduce her to the sea. And it really was a beautiful sunny day when I took her down there. And a glorious day it is as well, lovely blue ocean. Well, come on, the last time you saw Gemini, it was in the mountain river. But what I'd like to do eventually is to get her swimming in there. But as much as I'd love to let her go today, I can't do that because it'd be cruel. She wouldn't know how to catch any fish and she'd be, well, totally lost. But what she has seen today is a lot of wildlife that she's never seen before. She saw oyster catchers and gulls. And the next step is to show her some seals. And just round that point there, there's a colony of seals, Atlantic greys. There were some 20 to 30 seals on the rocks as Gemini and I made our way up to the position which gave us a good view of the colony. Coming up. Up this way, then. To start with, Gemini was more interested in the rough texture of the rocks we had to cross, something else she was experiencing for the first time. And then she saw the seals. It was low tide and they'd beached themselves among the rocks and the seaweed, great lumbering monsters out of the water. But I knew, in the water, the seal was as fast and agile swimmer as any sea lion. Well, isn't that a beautiful sight, Gemini? Well, of course, they're Atlantic grey seals, quite different from Gemini. They live all along this northwest coast of Scotland. As you can see, they're lying on the beach, and the main differences between Gemini and Atlantic grey seal is the fact that the sea lion has external ears, whereas the seal has ears that are internal, where you can't actually see them at all. Perhaps you can just see a very tiny ear hole. The other big difference between a seal and a sea lion like Gemini is that she has these strong fore flippers, which make her very agile on land. There are, in fact, two types of seals along our coastline. One, the Atlantic grey seal, that's behind us, and which we've been watching, and also the common seal. The common seal is mostly found on the east coast. It's a much smaller animal and its fur is brown, sometimes almost black. The grey seal is much larger. It can grow up to 3 meters. Its colour is, of course, greyer, but you can also see blotches or speckles around the top half of its body. It was a beautiful day.
Well, that little old Gemini does seem to have a time, doesn't she, up on the Isle of Skye? Perhaps, Brolly here, you've been a bit neglected, have you, today? Never mind, dear, lots of people have written very nice limericks about you. They have, yes, they have, indeed. Haven't they, tell you? Lots of nice limericks about Brolly and all sorts of things. So have you got some more down there?
I've got some lovely limericks. Here's one. Our lovely young cat named Ginger, when stroked will do nothing but purr. But when birds or a mouse come too near our big house, whiskers twitch and he raises his fur. And that one's from Caroline Jones, and she's 6 3/4.
That's not bad.
It's only little.
It's nice to be 6 3/4, as I said before, isn't it? Well, we've got one now from Nalini Kassoon. She's 12. And this one goes, there was a penguin called Rocky who wanted to be a jockey. So he had a course on how to ride a horse, but in the end, he tried hockey.
That's a nice one. One about Gemini now.
Yeah?
A sea lion by the name Gemini, a swim in a stream she did try. She told her friend Brolly, my word, that was jolly. I might try the sea by and by.
That's very nice, wasn't it, Brolly? Yes. That was nice, wasn't it, Brolly, eh? Well, here we are. We've got another one now about Brolly. You see how many people have written limericks about you, Brolly. Are you all right? Well, here's one. There once was a parrot called Brolly, who most of the time was jolly. But oh, what a to-do! The air was blue when one day he sat on some holly.
Right, now for
What do you think about that? There's another one.
There's one for our posh panda. There was once a posh giant panda whose habits could not have been grander. He ate his bamboo with a big silver spoon while sitting on the veranda. And that's Vicky Taylor, aged 10.
Well, that's not bad. It's very inventive, isn't it? Yes.
And
what do you think of those? Yeah?
All these limericks that have been read out in the programme today, the people that sent them in will get our fantastic Animal Magic pen.
Oh, yes, don't forget that. And there's still plenty of time. Well, not plenty of time, but some time to send in some more. So don't forget, send them to us, Animal Magic, BBC White Ladies Road, Bristol, BS8 2LR. So there we are from Brolly, who's left here with lots of limericks to her name, and all of us here. Goodbye. From all of us, until next week. Bye.